everybody. I'm TJ Major, spotter of the 6 Cup car this weekend. A lighter show this week.
Is that a fat joke against Brett? Or, like, I mean, that's up. The poor guy's not
Strong
even
start.
here to
did
defend
not
himself.
say that.
You are spicy today.
He is.
I mean,
He's an
spicy.
angry elf.
Angry elf.
What's up? Freddie Kraft, spotter for Bubba Wallace, and somebody else this week, Kyle Sieg. Hi, Karsyn.
Hi, Freddie.
You're back.
I'm back.
You're still here. We didn't run you off last week.
I guess I did a decent enough job that you guys decided to keep me. And we have a special guest today.
Yeah, because Brett was taking another personal day for the, 35th time this year. We had to reach out to a buddy of mine, Ryan Truex, Xfinity winner, Daytona International Speedway. What's up, buddy?
What's up? Happy to be here.
Yeah.
I mean that now.
Yeah, we'll find out. We have been known to get called to the hauler, so just be careful what you say on here. I mean, for one thing, I've known, so I grew up modified racing, obviously. I spotted for probably the second most famous family in New Jersey, the Blewitts, so I was well aware of the Truexes coming up. But little background on you, because I mean, when I first started spotting for Bubba, which was 15 years ago now, we were racing you in the K&N East Series at the time. So little background on where you started.
Yeah, I've been around racing, my whole life. Coming from a racing family, my dad owned his own Busch North team back in the day. I don't really remember it, but I was around for it, and just grew up at racetracks in the Northeast. And obviously, when Martin broke into the then Busch Series, I started to go to races around the country and really start to understand what NASCAR was like. And that's really my earliest memories, was kind of late Busch North as he started to get to the Busch Series. So yeah, just been around it my whole life. Grew up at Wall Stadium. Never got to race modifieds when I was younger. Got to go back and do it when I was 18. But yeah, started when I was 14 or 15 and just felt like every year climbed the ranks, then got to the Xfinity Series and kind of hung out for a while, and still kind of hanging out a little bit. But yeah, I've been pretty much everywhere in the garage area, all 3 series, and feel like now I'm finally, 12, 14 years later, finally kind of getting my footing a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously you had that big win at Dover last year, which is, listen, if you ever want to have fun, just show up at the casino bar and find Big
Look
Marty.
for my dad.
And it's fun any weekend, but then when Ryan wins, God bless,
I can't even imagine.
it was a bit of a show that night. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember back in the day, like you were the guy to beat in the K&N Series when we were there. I remember we had a hell of a finish at was that Lee? Well, you and Bubba
3 wide
bouncing off each other 3 wide.
Yeah. Still mad about that.
Still probably a little upset about that. I apologize. But I mean, just take us through. Your career obviously not exactly what you want. When was the last time you ran something full time? Was it the colleague car?
I ran full time 21 for Nice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I've run 3 full time seasons. Period. Basically, Hattori was my first one in 16 truck, the colleague car, and then 2021 for Nice.
And where are we at now? Because obviously, 2-time winner now, you're in contention. Obviously, very good equipment, but moving forward, what's the next step for you? Because I you hear a lot of rumors about the JGR team maybe downsizing to 3 or whatever. What's the next step for you?
I'm not really sure. I'm still trying to figure that out. I think winning always helps, and to win,
winning doesn't suck.
Well, doesn't it suck? Yeah, last year's win was big, but to come back this year and win 2 in 8 starts, I think is a big deal, and feel like kind of proves my worth, proves I deserve to be in this sport somewhere. There's a spot for me somewhere. It's just me trying to figure out where that is and put everything together to make it happen.
For sure. Have you ever raced against your brother?
I raced in the same series as him when I was at BK Racing, but we weren't really racing each other.
You only saw him a couple times, right?
Yeah. I did pass him at Martinsville, which was pretty cool.
Did you throw him the bird out the window?
I didn't, but then I think I broke a rear gear 10 laps later.
Of course.
So it was very short lived, but it was cool when I did pass him.
Take us through the race the other night. Obviously, the JGR. I felt like the JGR cars probably were the best ones all night. Chandler was all over the damn place. Not helping anybody. It seemed like I like to give about that because he's 3 wide by himself half the time. But yeah, just take us through your race the other night.
Yeah, it was good. that's super speedway racing. I feel like for JGR, at least the past few years that I've been there, has kind of been the weak point. We've usually got speed in the race, but we're just not quite there. When you look at RCR, Colleague, JRM, just have been missing a little bit. But this race, we got the pole. We were all 4 in the top 6, I think, in qualifying. So that was a good start. The car just was awesome in the race. I could kind of put it anywhere I wanted, and I don't think I ever got hung out or stuck in the middle or anything like that. The only time I went to the back is when I missed my pit stall completely. Just drove right past it. Yeah. Yeah. Tyler counted me down, and he was like 3, 2, 1. His voice got higher.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, just keep taking.
Just keep on going.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So you had Tyler Green spotting for you, obviously, the spotter podcast. Like, what's it mean? I mean, did Tyler do the first race you won this year, or because he bounces around a little bit on a couple different cars over there. But I mean, somebody like Tyler helping you, like, what's that mean to you, like, in your progression?
It's awesome. Anytime you work,
he is over prepared, by the way.
Oh yeah. I love info, and week of the race, he'll send me, SMT, pictures, video, replays, he sends me, like, in the notes app, all of his notes. But you can't get too much information, especially when you're me and you're part-time, you're not there every week. He's there every week. So he's picking up on stuff that I probably wouldn't even watching the race.
Yeah, Clint ran the 7 truck, which Tyler also spots for, and he called me like a couple days before the race. He goes, "Listen, if they give trophies for spotter preparation, I'm winning." He's like, "It's over." Like this guy has sent me videos, SMT videos. When Justin ran the 20 car at New Hampshire, he was saying the same thing. He's like, I don't even know how to absorb half. This guy's, I don't even know what I'm looking at. It's charts and graphs. Yeah. But he goes, I don't even know what the hell I'm looking at half the time.
Yeah, he's awesome. And yeah, in the race, just I think having somebody that you trust up there and having somebody that has raced, I think is a huge part of it. He's just, he's good at communicating with me and helping me understand what he's saying, especially at a super speedway. There's so much info, and he's basically talking at all times. Yeah. Unless we're up front, like leading, saving fuel, but even then he's still, giving me info on what's going on behind me. That was the biggest thing, especially leading. It's so easy to not know which lane's moving or where the momentum is or how to keep your gaps right. There's a few times I'd get too far ahead. So we worked on that, but yeah, he did a good job of just giving me the right info to control the race.
That's probably a, whenever you look spotters switch jobs, it's probably something that just doesn't come naturally, or, it doesn't come with a lot of there's not a lot of connections like that on the route. There's not like, Bubba really well. Tyler, you guys said you work really well together. And, from like, I know Brad really well, if they were to switch spotters, any of these guys that have had the same guy for a while, they're not going to be comfortable. If Bubba had to change spotters next week, it's going to be off. And that makes your job. I mean, the comfort in the car, like you just, like you said, you have that trust in him and you move. If he says move, right. And it's, that's not something that happens. I would say it's hard to come by that, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I've worked with a lot of spotters. Last year I had Stevie on the roof for Dover, and I've had him a few times this year. And same thing, I have experience with him. I've worked with him, since I started my part-time JGR career in 2022. And he did my truck back when I was at Nice. So that's another one. I know him well, and it's
when he says something, you know what he means.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So at any level, it's all about people and having the right people in place, especially in a sport that's this hard and this hard to win.
It's definitely hard.
If you don't have every piece in place and in the right spot, it's just not going to work out.
Yeah.
Our useless third host that's not here today sent me 2 questions he wanted to ask you about. First one, what is, obviously, like we talked about, you've only run 3 full-time seasons. What's the hardest part about finding a full-time ride? Is it just money?
Yes, it's basically money. Yes. But it's so hard to, when you don't have anything and you can't, there's guys out there that can guarantee this much money and then sell against it for 9 months. And, they're going to find most of it. When you've got nothing and you've got to commit, millions of dollars, it's really hard to just find all that, put it together, and show up to a team and say, here you go. There's not sponsor spending full-time money at any level.
No.
So you've got to piece it all together, and it's just hard to put all the pieces in place at the same time, especially when there's 20 guys out there all trying to do the same thing.
And especially, like, I think I don't want to speak for you, but there's probably some opportunity somewhere to go full-time that's you're not going to win.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and I've done
how
that.
much do you weigh?
Right.
And that's got to weigh on you. Like, all right, I'm going to the racetrack today and I have no chance to win. Like,
Yep.
I mean, that's got to be like, that's what we talk about on here all the time. Like, at some point, like when we talk about Priest is a good example of, he ran that year in the Johnny Davis car and nobody knew who the he was.
Yeah.
And then he instead took that same money and went and ran 3 races for JGR, wins, and elevated his career to where he's at. So that's I think, where do you weigh that? Winning is everything, right? I mean, at the end of the day.
Win.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my stock has definitely risen in the past year and a half. And if I hadn't, if I'd been racing full time, riding around in 15th to 20th, I'd probably be done because, I'm older and I haven't won. So at this point in my career with what I've done and how long I've been around, it's just all about winning and continuing to, prove that, I'm a valuable asset to a team and I can help build a team. Obviously I've done that a few times, in trucks and Xfinity. It's just all about winning.
Brett's second and final question. What's the story behind the hair?
I knew that was going to be it.
Like,
we should ask him the same thing.
Well, he doesn't have any.
I know.
So-
He wants to know because he can't grow any. He wants to know your secret.
He would probably like you to cut some off and give it to him.
I honestly would love to.
Or if you have a special shampoo, he's going to buy it.
special hair growing shampoo.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He needs some hair.
He gives me about being gray. I'm like, well, it's still there. At
Yeah.
least that's a
Yeah.
good
Could
start.
Could be worse.
You imagine how weird Brett would look if he could just had a full head of hair again?
No, I don't.
He would look so weird.
I don't even remember. Like, when did the when did the hair start? Because I don't remember. It wasn't
For me?
K&N days. But I mean,
2020 when nobody could get
Nobody
a
get a
haircut.
haircut.
Yeah.
I grew it out a little bit, and Leah, my fiance, was like, I kind of like it. So I just went with that and kept growing it.
That's a
It's
very
a
good
little
reason.
too long now. It really, so I had at Dover this year, I put a hat in my car in case I won because my helmet hair is just outrageous. And I lost it under the seat. Couldn't find it. And then Daytona, I was like, all right, got to remember my hat. And I didn't take it with me. So I was hatless again.
my wife actually made a comment yesterday. We were out hanging out, and she's like, Ryan did the most hair flips in Victory Lane that I've ever seen anybody.
It's so annoying.
So
It gets in my face, and it's just.
Did you
too
have a
much.
hat on the races that you didn't win?
No. The
I was
only
gonna
time
say,
I
I'd be
remembered it
leaving
was
that
Dover.
hat out. I'd be
I was going to
out
say,
right
it's
now.
like a good omen.
Yeah.
Maybe just have someone run out with one.
Maybe the crazy hair is the ticket.
It could be.
I mean, just plan on going out there
could be.
looking crazy. And
It's a lot of work, though. I really want to cut it, but I might not be engaged anymore if I do.
That's what. Hey, listen, that's a happy wife, happy life, bro. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Exactly.
So we appreciate you stopping by. You want to hang out and
Yeah.
bull for a little while? All right. Well,
Yeah, we
let's
got a
talk.
lot- we
Let's
got a
talk
lot
a
to
little
cover.
Daytona.
Well, before we get into recapping Daytona, we have the winner, Harrison Burton, on the line, another special guest. Grab the 100th win for Wood Brothers. Lots and lots to talk about surrounding that. So we've got him on the line. Freddie, take it away.
Well, Harrison, thank you for calling in. And the only thing that I have discovered over the last 24 hours is you're a hard guy to be mad at. Your team is a hard team to be mad at. Like, you are too damn nice. Everybody on your team's too damn nice. Everybody's happy for the Wood Brothers. So as much as I would love to be mad at you for knocking us out of the playoffs, congratulations. You earned it. You did a great job, and we're really proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, it means a lot. And Bubba came to Victory Lane and kind of said the same thing. Is that he, as much as he hated that I won and kind of put you guys in a tough situation going into this weekend, he was happy for me. And me and him have had a good relationship throughout kind of my Cup career, and he's been really nice and kind to me. We've also yelled at each other sometimes, but that's how racing goes, right? So, Ross did the same thing. So I think, I have like the shield of Wood Brothers protection, like everyone roots for the Wood Brothers, and that's great. I'll use that as much as I can, no doubt.
Yeah, Jeremy and Jason are both really good friends of mine, so I was like, man, I really would like to hate these guys at this moment, but I don't think I can do it. Take us through that race, man. I went back and watched this morning to see where you were at in that big McDowell wreck, and you're kind of like pinned up against the wall and skate through there, and then obviously find yourself in the right place at the right time at the end. Just take us through the end of the last 10 laps at least.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was unbelievable that I missed a lot of the wrecks that we missed. I was right in the kind of zone for especially that McDowell wreck where I saw literally his roof number flying right directly at me. I'm like, okay, that's solid. That's going to hurt. And then, somehow I got slowed down and just no one hit me from behind. And like I snuck through there. And then the last wreck where I was running and Todd was right behind me. We were both talking about it. Like we were getting ready to pop top of 3 wide and try and make a little third lane action go. And then, bam, they wreck right in front of us and I snake through. Todd gets taken out like a half inch behind me. It's just unbelievable. Just the things that have to go your way to get into the situation that you're in at the end. And then to execute the way we did, I think Jason Jarrett, my spotter, did a fantastic job of letting me know what was behind me, where the energy was coming from behind me. And I was able to really focus on, kind of executing the side drafts the best I could to keep the 20 separated from the 8, keep their momentum kind of checked up and make it hard for them to get connected. And then old Parker Retzloff just did an amazing job. We had like the underdog row on the top lane that kind of got it going, got connected, and that was pretty badass. Just he did a really, really good job of pushing me really hard when he needed to, but not wrecking me. Like he had me sideways multiple times and was smart enough to regather, take a second, and then go again instead of just running through me. So that was really, really cool. I think he did a great job, and it was fun just blocking the 8 at the end when I got clear. It's funny, like you run your whole race is like, okay, my goal is to get clear of everybody going off of turn 4. I was like, okay, great, I did that. Now what? And it was like, oh, I was having to block left and right, up and down, about crashed a couple times, and just fortunate that it worked out the way it did, and we could celebrate the 100th win. I
want to know when you thought you were in a really good spot, like going down the back, halfway down the back, when you got clear into 3. When were you like, okay, this could happen?
I think the biggest thing was I clamped the 20 right rear really hard and then drug back, and then I looked in my mirror and Jason was like, they're formed up tight behind you. And I just knew we were going to get a big, massive run down the backstretch. And then as I started getting that forward momentum and the engine RPMs pick up, you just know you have a big run. And I think I had a pretty decent run down the back to where Kyle was going to have a hard time blocking it. I think that's why he didn't block, because we had a big enough run that he might have crashed or got hung in the middle there. And then, once I got clear, it was, like I said, there was a bit of a panic moment because I was like, oh, I'm actually clear with a chance to win right here. And then, I
think listening to Jason, he might have been panicking a little bit too when he saw the 8 get clear. He's like, bottom, top, yes. Bottom. But I mean, he did what he had to do, and you did a great job. You might be able, maybe you can give McDowell some pointers on how to block a couple lanes there.
You're still bitter about that, huh?
Nah, you can't tell, can you?
No comment.
Well, congrats, man. It was awesome to see, man. Like Freddie said, though, a really great group of guys, man. The 100th win too. I mean, that's pretty amazing. It's got to be really cool for you to have that win with them.
Yeah, and we did it in the most Wood Brothers way possible, right? Like, we got kicked in the teeth so many times. We've had chances to win at a couple races and failed to execute. We've had weekends where we flat out run horrible. But through all that, we never quit on each other. My whole team believed in me. I believed in them. And that's what made it cool is while I'm on my way out of that seed, I lost my job, all that horrible stuff. They still kind of believed in me and rallied around me. And, that genuine happiness for each other at the end of the race is even more special when you've kind of been through hell and back with those guys. So just really, really special, fantastic to get that win for them, and couldn't be more proud.
Talk about the end of the race. Take the checker flag. Obviously, I would imagine, I don't want to put you on blast here, but you're probably crying the entire cool down lap. The coolest moment for me is you're rolling through 3 and 4, and next voice you hear on the radio is your dad. Like, what does that mean to you in that moment? Don't cry now, please.
Yeah.
on
I
the
just got
show.
goosebumps when you said that.
Yeah, let me cry for your camera real quick. Hold on, I'll look myself in the eye. But I actually did. I bawled my eyes out down the entire cooldown lap, which I've never, ever cried after a race win. Never even thought about crying after a race win. But just what we've been through, man, it's just so hard. And, to the circumstances, like I've said, to get that win. And then, like, literally right as I, like, got my wits about me and I'm, like, excited again, I'm not, like, crying, my dad gets on the radio. He's like, "What's up, man?" So,
Lost
that
it
was
all
just
over again.
really, yeah, man, it was really special. And he's been the guy that's, pushed me really hard my whole childhood. He's been the guy that's been there for me in the ups and downs of racing that everyone has. And his big thing is just never give up and always show up and put effort in. And I feel like I definitely did that our whole last 3 years. And, you just can never quit and you never know what's going to happen. So to hear his voice and then for NBC to let him off the hook, he was on the clock and then he just ran
He got down there pretty quick. I got to give him credit for an old guy. He hauled ass.
I was impressed.
I don't know how, man. He's old. His back hurts all the time. But he was moving. So that was sweet, man. It was awesome. It was so fun. And, for him, my mom, obviously very excited on the pit box. My fiance, Jenna, that was the first win that she's been there for. We've dated since high school, but she's never been able to be in victory lane just because of college or whatever it might be, COVID, all those things. So, for her to be there was special and just enjoy it, man. It was really fun.
It's weird for you to say your mom got excited on the pit box because she's usually very calm, never really
She's
excited.
super
at
calm.
all.
Yeah.
She's very non-emotional person at all.
Before I let you go, I just wanted to give you an opportunity. As always, as you see on social media, there's going to be some kind of negativity around it, and a lot of people are complaining about the playoff system because of where you were in points. Like, how do you respond to those people right now? But I mean, you did what you had to do. So, how do you respond to those people?
I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't care. I get it.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the rules that were laid in front of us, and we want to race. And I don't. What I've seen on Twitter, which is or X, sorry, has been pretty rare. Of where it's like pretty reasonable, where it's like don't hate the player, hate the game scenario. It's like, okay, like you guys are using your heads right now. That's nice. Like I haven't gotten a lot of hate for winning, which is interesting. I normally get a lot of hate. It's just for me, it was cool. Just everyone was I'd say 95% of the people were genuinely happy that we won. And I think it's, like I said, I've got that Wood Brothers protection, man. So I'm good to go. And it helped me out for sure.
I mean, we all had the same opportunity, Harrison. You got it done. So I don't think there's any. You got the trophy. You got the check. You got the playoff win. And I don't think they're going to take this one away. So I think you're pretty good.
I feel good about it, man. It's pretty special, and now we have the playoffs to get ready for, so we can't waste the opportunity, man. We have a great opportunity in front of us. Just have to keep digging.
Man, we appreciate you dropping by. Congratulations. Yep. You can kiss my ass. Thanks a lot.
Go enjoy it, man. Enjoy the day.
I love you. You're welcome. I will enjoy it.
Thanks, man.
Good job, kid.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
See ya.
TJ, where'd you end up? That you I was counting on you. You were the closest one to the front that I needed to win, and you let me down.
Wait, no, I didn't let you down.
I don't know why. Why'd you jump that restart? By the way,
because I wanted to let you down.
Because I thought you were in pretty good shape, and then I heard restarts under review, and I said,
yeah.
"Oh."
I just, you're trying to, and honestly, a plate race, I mean, it's really hard to jump a restart at a plate race because it's all about your help out back. I mean, it doesn't matter if you go. If the guy behind you doesn't go, you're done anyway. So there was a couple things that added up, I think, to getting that call. One, the 5. I think Brad's driving off the 2. He's looking at him, and the 5 gives the 2 a little bit of a bump, and he moves, and Brad goes a little bit. Well, then Brad notices that the 2 is not going, so he waits a second. The 2 then takes off, and we go. And, I mean, the 2 still got the lead clear out in front. I mean, to me, it wasn't like we were going to get out front and block the air and take it away. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
Ryan, what are you in the car, front row, not the control car? What are you looking at? I mean, I don't know how much you can even see with the new headrest stuff, but are you just looking at the nose of that car and waiting for a lunge? Or are you just trying to anticipate it?
You're listening.
Yeah.
But at a super speedway, before you even think about going, you're getting hit.
Yeah.
Every time. Every restart Saturday night, when I was leading, when I was in second, I was not firing. I was getting hit.
Yeah. Then I'm going.
Like, all right, it's time to go.
It's time to go.
But you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Once you get hit, you're going.
Yeah.
So That's a tough one.
Yeah.
You bounced back. Where'd you finish?
We literally bounced through the infield the last
Oh,
straight
did you get wrecked?
Well, yeah, Hocevar was going to drive through us at the start finish line. We were the ones sliding down through the grass. We were right inside of you, I think.
Yeah.
And
That sounds bad.
yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, we ended up finishing like 8th still, which is, it was getting the penalty. I don't know if it saved us or if it hurt us, because if we are still out there, maybe we get caught up in that big wreck.
I was gonna say probably because you pit probably right before we all wrecked, right?
Yeah, we were out there about 4 or 5 laps, and then you all wrecked. So I don't know. We could have very well been right in the middle of all that. We could have been, getting turned. So we come back and had a shot at it, but you're probably not going to win from 8th or so on the last, green white checker, 3 to go or something. It's going to be pretty hard to get up there. But still a solid day. I think we were one of the cars that didn't have any we weren't in any wrecks until the front stretch on the start finish line. So, but still, we just spun down through the grass, didn't hit anything. So, I think we were high point total of the night.
Were you?
Yeah,
Good
I think
job.
so. So I think we were 6th, 7th, and
I don't really want to talk about points. Right
yeah,
now.
I just figured that was a good word
Touchy
for you.
subject. Touchy
So,
subject.
but no, I mean it was a solid night, kind of quiet after the penalty, but I really feel like we had a shot at winning until that point. But
Yeah,
what it is.
We kind of the plan we had going in was obviously the same as everybody else, safety, which I was surprised. I don't know if you were. We knew the first stage everybody could run the whole stage
Yeah, there
without
was
having
no
to save, and that third lane formed up better than it ever has. I thought, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, we're gonna actually be able to race today a little bit, and I don't know how much it's going to affect later, but we were we were planning on saving the second and third stage, and we restarted on the bottom, and we drove to the lead, and then Bubba just led, and I'm like,
yeah,
I was like, I don't know what he's doing. I guess we're just gonna lead. I'm just gonna keep spotting like we're gonna try to keep the lead. And in Bubba's mind, which he was right, he's like, I felt safer there. He's like, I was obviously running probably 40-50% throttle, but he's like, I felt safer there. And then sure enough, they had that big wreck with Corey and Larson and Ross and them
on the front row.
Yeah,
From the front.
Oh no, they wrecked mid pack.
The
one with LaJoy and them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I was like, I guess we were safe, and then everything else played out right. But obviously, we got new winter did not help us by any means whatsoever.
Yes.
I feel we're having such so much of a better season this year than last year, and we're
out.
We're out.
So
at this
far.
point.
I mean-
So. And unfortunately for us, Busher seems to be pretty good at Darlington. So I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
he
call
wasn't
Tyler.
bad last race
I'm gonna have to
there.
call Tyler and see if he'll wreck him again for me, so we can maybe make some points up.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh yeah. Well,
You can't say that.
I just can't
Allegedly.
say it. I told Bubba next year about August when we don't have any off weeks, I'm gonna be like, as soon as he wrecks somebody, I'm just gonna start yelling "wreck him" into the radio, so that maybe I get a week off. Like
I
Brandon
told
did.
Brad, actually in our comp meeting a couple weeks ago, I said, before that midsummer race at in somewhere far away, I said, I can hear Sacco calling into the tower. All the spotters are fighting.
They're throwing punch.
Every spotter is fighting. So,
Oh,
I was
man.
getting a week off.
So anyway, Harrison did a great job them last handful of laps there, put himself where he needed to do, got a hell of a push from Retzloff, which we'll cover in a minute. I don't think the shark fin worked. At least
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know
Well-
enough about it, but I know we had 2 cars flip over this week instead of one.
One was a half flip.
Yeah.
Didn't get upside
And
down.
that was more, I think, circumstantial of just
Yeah.
getting hit square
Yeah,
in
that
the door
actually
at the
was a
wrong
half
time.
flip. It's
Yeah, he
true.
never went all the way over. But what I did see was
The 4 was
the
a flip.
4 was a blowover. But it seemed like who was spinning with the 4? I can't remember. That was next to him. You could see that car trying to
2?
lift. Maybe it was a 2, I think. And like it didn't do the same thing the 4 did. So I don't know if that fin was helping that situation, but
Yeah.
it did not help the 4. And that was a hell of a. Could you
don't-
imagine hitting a wall that hard
Upside
down?
Your belts aren't working very well when you're
No, when
hanging
you're
in them.
suspended by them.
I was wondering how that looked. If he could see, like, was the nose too far down where he couldn't see where he was going, or was it up where he was like, oh,
He probably had his eyes closed. If I would, I
mean,
think that's
yeah.
where I would be.
That's got to be an awkward. That's not a position that I would want to be in at all. But I don't think it's possible to run as fast as we do and not have it possible to, have a car flip over. I mean, I just don't.
I mean, you're at Michigan and Daytona. Like, this doesn't happen every week. And to Denny's point, and I don't know how, Ryan, you can come on in this. Denny's like, I would rather flip over than pound a wall.
Yeah.
Like every time. He goes, you don't see like all the really bad injuries we've had in the sport are from somebody hitting a wall. Obviously, guys got hurt flipping over, like the deal with Ryan at Newman at Daytona was just a freak thing where Brad hit him at the wrong spot, whatever. But then he's like, I would much rather just flip over than pound a fence somewhere.
Yeah, no, for sure. I never flipped in a stock car, but I have flipped, and it's hitting a wall head on definitely hurts a lot more.
Yeah.
Or side on. Anyway, you hit the wall, it doesn't feel good.
Even Denny in Richmond, that was hard.
To your point about the flip at Michigan, it was the most recent flip we've had at a non-drafting track was Brad back in 2010 in Atlanta. So it's been a long time since we've had a flip at a non-drafting track.
Can't even blame TJ for that one.
I know.
Damn it. Anyway, I obviously didn't watch on TV. You were still at the track Saturday. Lee Diffie. I've seen a lot. I mean, the last lap call was incredible, I thought. And then, of course, like you see you can't make everyone happy.
No.
And Lee, if you know Lee, he is the most energetic person on the planet to begin with. And everybody I seen, like, I thought it was amazing.
That's
I thought
why
he did
I
a
liked
great
it
job.
because it was energetic. It was exciting to watch.
It's like the radio.
And because he has a different accent, some of the people are like, this guy's awful. This isn't F1.
Who's
Get
this
rid
British
of this
guy?
Yeah, like, who's this British guy?
I mean, the clips that I've heard, I thought he did a really good job. I thought he painted the picture well. And you know what? Which I thought the other, I think, Rick Allen does a good job as well. But it's just different. And it's a change. And I think it was, he just got different wording for things. And it's like, oh, that's kind of new. You know what I mean? And he uses different terms and stuff. And
he's very educated about the sport.
He's very educated.
And I like that he puts, every time he talks about a driver, he says their sponsor and their manufacturer.
Yeah.
Which is
big.
I think it's big.
And you like, he hasn't been doing this. You know what I mean? Like that was one of the big things that stood out to me this week. He had a backstory for damn near every driver he talked about. Obviously sponsor, manufacturer. And this is his first week back in years. He hasn't been doing this in years. So just the amount of homework you have to do to be ready for it. But like, listen, if you don't like Lee Diffie or you didn't like that call, you can probably kiss my ass because I like that guy is the best. I don't give a
you can't tell me listening to that last lap and him call that was pretty entertaining.
I saw a great tweet that was something like Lee Diffie calls this race like he watched it yesterday and is prepared to, he knows what's getting ready to happen and he calls it word for word what's getting ready to happen. As high as a pressure or like moment that you can get like with action, and he nailed it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's like Blake at the Cars Tour. I mean, does a good job.
I don't want to give Blake.
We were just talking about that last week, though.
I know, I did.
Just like the excitement and it sounding like radio and painting a good picture.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you listen to an MRN broadcast of a race, you think it's the best race there ever. And I go back and listen. We were in the race. I'm spotting, and I go back and listen on MRN, and I'm like, what? Were they at the same track that I was at? It's like, then there's a battle for the lead, and you're like, they're 10 cars apart. What the hell are you talking about?
MRN, man, you can sit there and just see when they're talking, you know what I mean? Like what the words they use are so descriptive, you can see it. It's like spotting a plate race. You're trying to paint that picture, and they do a really good job of it.
How was the no commercials? What was that like? Was it a full screen?
So they just did the nonstop thing where they put it in a 2-box and they just do commercials. No, really wasn't that bad. I mean, I think overall, I'm not going to speak for everybody sitting here at this bench, but I thought it was the best broadcast in years, just top to bottom. From an announcing standpoint and then from a coverage standpoint, like Steve Letarte, literally the way he explained, like, because obviously once they had the flip right with Barry, like they went into a whole deep dive and they did the cutaway car and they showed the flaps and like the new pin they've got that like controls the thing on the rear part of the car. Like his explanation of that was so detailed, but it was concise enough to where you could digest it. Because a lot of times with that sort of technical stuff, it's so in the weeds that it just kind of goes over people's heads.
In years?
I think so. Yeah.
Man.
I mean,
Dale Jr. like to see you down the hill.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with slide job. I'm just saying that I think top to bottom, this was a really good broadcast.
Oh, there's definitely something wrong with slide job. Anyway, what else we have this week? Oh, SVG.
Yeah.
Kiwi Cup.
Big announcement.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dale.
Yeah, speaking of
88's
Dale,
coming back out.
88. Yeah. I thought that was interesting, which makes a lot of sense why now Zillich was running the 88 next year at JRM, kind of aligning with the Trackhouse deal.
It's going to look weird.
Listen,
it is going to be weird.
It is going to be weird.
It's going to take some adjusting for sure.
I think if you're Trackhouse, you have to make this move because instantly Zane has obviously turned it up the last, I don't know, maybe month and a half, 2 months.
About a month, maybe.
And he's running much better. But you instantly have a chance to win 5 road course races next year, and that's what this sport's about. You know, the win to get in the playoffs, SVG will legitimately give you a chance to win 5 races tomorrow. The second you sign him,
2 to 5 races, for the next 10 years.
Yeah, and that's all you want. That's all you need. We talked about
that'll keep him there.
Harrison Burton made probably $3 million for Wood Brothers yesterday or Saturday. You know, just jumping from wherever we were 34th in the standings to 16th at worst. You know, that's a big deal, and it carries over for years on the charter side because that's what, you know, that's the charter value. And, you know, that's if you can get in the playoffs. Like, I don't know where Zane's at. Zane's probably not great. I'm sure I think he's actually right in front of Harrison. You know, if SVG runs the same as Zane but wins one race, that's the same $3 million jump for them. So it sucks for Zane, but I think it's a no-brainer for Trackhouse.
It's probably the best 88's probably ever going to run to a road course. Just saying.
That's not nice. Didn't you spot for all those years? You couldn't help the guy out?
You don't think I have experience with that?
But I told Bubba one time we were at Sonoma, and I was like, all right,
you
man.
know how it is.
I just try to get back. I'm like, just hit your marks. He's like, I obviously don't have any marks. I was like, well, hit somebody else's marks. I don't know what to tell you.
Find a mark to hit.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Karsyn, take
All right,
this.
should we do a little spot on, spot off?
Sure.
I think since Freddie's feeling spicy today, I'm going to start with you on the first one.
Great.
One of the most historic teams in NASCAR got their 100th win at Daytona, and we're more concerned about how the win affects the legitimacy of the playoff format. Spot on, spot off.
It's complete bull. This is ridiculous.
You got
I was kidding.
slippery slope for you here.
I seen a lot of hate for Harrison. He's 34th in points. He was 30 points behind Zane. Whatever. Like,
don't matter.
It does not matter. Those aren't the rules anymore. The top 30 rules out the window. Harrison did what Harrison had to do and won the race. That's a win and you're in system. That's the way the game is played right now. Do I think there should be a cutoff? I don't know why they got rid of the top 30 rule. I would actually like to see a top 25 rule because, you know, I don't want to take anything away from Harrison. Harrison did what he had to do last night. He won, or Saturday night. He won the race. He's not transferring out of the first round. You know, and it's unfortunate. You know, that's just the way he is. He has an average finish of like 25th all year long. So it's you don't. At some point in every other sport, you're mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. You can't make it, you know. And I don't know, the 0-16 Panthers can't beat the defending Super Bowl champions, and all of a sudden you're in. So I would probably benefit. I think, listen, if it's winning, you're in. Like, why isn't Ryan in the playoffs? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I get it. There's a rule against making all the starts, but like, if we're just going to go win and you're in, Ryan should be in the Xfinity playoffs,
right.
and he can make a lot of money selling races in the playoffs to run those 10 races.
It's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
I
think you like that, I'm sure. But like,
Okay.
I mean, where do you stand on that? Because it's I feel like it's win and you're in, but okay, not really if you're not a full-time guy. Like, where does this lay for you?
I feel like top 25 makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I mean, the game is the game. 34th doesn't matter. You're in the playoffs. But yeah. But then you know, for someone like me, if you're part-time, then you got to look at waivers and all that stuff. And it's just, then you just open a can of worms.
then
then you can put SVG in for one race a year. He'll go win it. And then
he's
go run the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
It's Go ahead, TJ.
I know what you're saying, but, you know, what if you start the season off? We start off with 2 plate races, basically. And we were in this scenario. We left Atlanta like 36th or 38th in points. And what if you just have the worst luck the first 7-8 races and you're in a lot of trouble?
You're still going to be in the top 25 in points, TJ.
What if? What if you're not?
You could have 10 bad races. You're going to be in the top 25 in points.
I'm just saying, what if? You know, and I don't know what a good cutoff is. I think, you know, it would be nice to see them cap it somewhere to where it does put a little pressure on you. Like, you do got a point race. You can't just swing for the fence every week. You know, the guys back there and do that stuff. So I do think a cutoff is good to have. But, you know, what is the good cutoff? 25, 30, legitimately?
Right now you're looking at 20. So P25 in points is Ricky at or P26 is Eric at 381. That's 15 points a race. That's not a lot to ask for. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I feel
I
like
wouldn't. I think so. I've heard some people say top 20. Top 20 is too
25
much. I think.
seems
pushing
to
it.
Top 20 because like host of ours 21st.
I think it needs to be higher than that because them guys have had speed this year at times. You know, the Ricky's been fast. I mean, Ricky's been fast at times, and I feel like if he were to get a win, you know, what if he gets wrecked here? You know, and he's out of there, but he has a win. He could have won Iowa. I mean, he was pretty fast at Iowa.
Yeah.
And he gets knocked out because he's not top 25. I still think there's some quality cars right there that you would kick out.
I just think it adds an extra layer of drama. Okay, this guy won, but he's not in yet. Now he's got to go out and perform these next handful of races and get himself to this plateau of 25th or 30th, whatever it is. I don't know. It's just like I said. Harrison did nothing wrong. He doesn't deserve any of the hate he's getting about the playoff system. But it's hard to swallow when we are probably 80 points higher than we were at this point last year, and we're on the outside looking in going into the last race because we've had 4 guys behind us in points win races.
How many more points do you have than Harrison straight up right now?
I'm looking at it right now. We have 637. Harrison is 306. That's hard. That's hard to swallow.
I didn't mean to make it worse on you. Sorry.
That's
Like
tough.
you look at going into the race, he was like 260 points behind the cutoff line, and like I don't want to make it seem like he did anything wrong because he did. No. He did a great job, and it's like, damn it, like we're having a good year, and now it might get a race because
even taking Harrison.
Better.
Absolutely, we should have won a race. We put ourselves in this position. That's the end of the day.
2022, there was nobody made it on points, right?
Yeah, like did Martin make it? Or
No, he was out. I think he was like third or fourth in straight up points, and got
that's
kicked
right.
out. There were 16 winners, so
Jeez.
yeah, it's tough.
All right. Next one. RCR should reconsider their alliance with the 62 after Parker Retzlaff pushed the 21 past the 8 and denied Kyle Busch a playoff clinching win. TJ.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen. I'm spot on for Parker doing what he had to do because he put his name on the map right there as well. And, you know, he did what he was supposed to do. The bottom row didn't link up how they should have linked up. When they come off the corner, the 20 gets to the 8, and I think he hits him a little bit too hard, and he gets him sideways a little bit, and they're not connected. And the 15 hits the 20 and comes off of him, and, man, they're not doing as good of a job as the outside lane. And I don't know if Parker's going to be getting, if Parker lifts right there anyway, he's getting run over. I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to just pull up and get out of the way. Well, that's not right. I mean, Parker's there to try to get the best position he can. And I don't know, maybe they should have chose lineup a little bit differently. Maybe Kyle should pick a different lane, or maybe Parker should pick a different lane if they were planning on doing that. But I don't see how Parker does anything different right there, because if he lifts, he's going to get turned. And if he gets turned, he clips Kyle and wrecks him anyway. So the only way to really make that work is if you're nose to tail and helping each other and doing all you can, which I don't think the bottom lane did a very good job of that.
It looked to me like, and listen, like you said, the kid's there to win the race. That's first and foremost in his mind.
Second ever Cup race.
Yeah, and I mean the first one didn't really count. Which was ridiculous in the fact that he had to even run that race to get approved, which is another whole different topic. But he's there to win the race, and I think he was I think his thought process was if he could push the 21 out far enough to clear the 8 and get in front of the 8, he had a legitimate shot for the 8 to push him by the 21 down the front stretch, but he didn't get clear. And
he was
then
a foot from getting outside the quarter panel of Harrison.
And it's tough because you listen to the radio communication, and they basically told him to pick behind the 8. He didn't, or behind the 20, which was in the 8's line. He didn't. Which was wrong. If you're gonna manipulate it, the way you do it is you pick behind the guy and don't push him. Which I think they also told him don't push the 8, don't push the 21 past the 8 and send it. Like that's fine. But it's hard to. At what point does it come into race manipulation? If you're on the radio telling the kid you can't push this guy by this guy, and he does that. Is he going to get in trouble for that?
You're not racing
if you're lifting off of turn 2 to not, obviously you're not giving 100%. Like, it's hard. I know what's expected of him, and he probably would have been the third grandson had he helped out good enough. But obviously now he drives a Chevy in the Xfinity Series. He's running a Chevy in the truck in the Cup Series, basically an RCR prepared car, and he pushes the guy by an RCR car to win the race. It's tough.
Does he get more recognized by doing this or more recognized by pushing Kyle?
Well, yeah, nobody would even know.
He never got a chance to push Kyle,
if he lifts and doesn't do anything off of 2, nobody probably even knows he's in the race.
What if he's third in line on the bottom? Does they even know he's there?
Like if somebody comes on the radio, like, put yourself in that position. There's a Gibbs car leading, and you're in position where you think, in his mind, you're a race car driver. He thinks there's a path for him to win this race. Yeah. And that's end all be all. Like, obviously, you're going to do what you think is the right thing for you to win the race. And at the end of the day, maybe it's not the best team decision.
I mean, if I'm, 20? 21,
yeah, something like
if
that.
Yeah. And it's my second ever Cup race, and I have a chance to win, I'm not thinking about anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't.
And there's he doesn't have a Cup ride. There's no guarantee he's ever going to be in a Cup car again.
He has nothing to lose at that moment necessarily.
Exactly.
I get it.
In that moment, literally.
I just don't know what you want him to do differently. The inside did not go like it was
supposed
to go.
They want him to not push.
But that's
what they wanted.
It's a race, and if the inside lane organizes like they probably should have, they're probably way more competitive.
You know what they wanted him to do? They wanted him to do whatever the you did off of 2 coming to the end of the first stage. The end of the first stage, I don't know what parachute came off the back of your car, but we all stopped. I know.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. I will be clear that you didn't. Brad did not drag the brake. He didn't lift.
No.
People were like, he sabotaged the line. I'm like, no, he didn't. But I don't know what the happened. We all just stopped.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn it, TJ.
I've seen that happen before. Honestly, at the end of the 500 a few years ago, we were getting shoved by Chase Briscoe down the back, and we just came apart. And I don't know. I thought Chase lifted. Like, it was like, what are you doing? And nobody lifted. It's just sometimes how the air moves, man, in these cars. And we were in the middle, and which isn't really, if you don't have really good help in the middle, sometimes it's pretty easy to drop the anchor right there. And
you did.
Yeah, we did.
You dropped it hard.
But I do have, last week you see some comments after on Twitter of, like, what was Brad doing in the 1 when he lifted or had an issue there?
I still don't know what you were doing there.
I know what happened there, but I was gonna tweet something. I know it's weird.
Really? I didn't even know you had a Twitter.
Yeah, I was gonna tweet something like, what was the 8 doing off on the backstretch there? Because he looked like that could have probably been prevented.
When last week?
When he turned the 2.
Oh yeah, it happens. Push.
Happened. Speaking of, last Thursday, Denny Hamlin was penalized 75 points, 10 playoff points, and his crew chief, Chris Gabehart, was fined $100,000 after Toyota Racing Development self-reported an engine rules violation.
Ask me if
Should
I'm
I toss
mad.
it to
Am I mad?
Mr. TRD hat?
No comment.
I mean, rule number 1, don't tell on yourself ever. Like, I don't understand. Like, let them
Rule number 1, don't bash the spotters.
Yeah.
How about start with that?
Yeah, you start talking about spotters and everything goes downhill for you, buddy.
See what happens then?
He's had a bad week.
Yes. Shouldn't mess with it.
You guys have a spotters union?
No,
Not yet.
you're not allowed to say you're not allowed to say
yet.
the word union and around NASCAR at all. They get upset. This sounded to me, I think. So what happens is you run some of these engines multiple times. So what happens is if you win a race with an engine that you intend to run again, they will put a seal on it to inspect it whenever you are done running it instead of tearing it down right there. So Denny ran that engine at Bristol, won the race. I think he ran it again this year, maybe Darlington. And then somewhere somebody got lost in communication and it went back to Costa Mesa and got disassembled, taken apart, and the seal got broke. And they, to their credit, they told on themselves. They were like, hey, listen, it's on us. We screwed up. But you have to basically take the win away because of, now you didn't inspect the engine after that race. So it's unfortunate, but I don't know why they were honest.
I don't think, but I think it comes up eventually.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? It's not like it's not going to go undiscovered. And you're like, you tell your kids, be honest up front, because you'd rather find out everything right now than you would
waiting for the
what if
hammer
they
to
find
drop.
Yeah, what if they find out in the playoffs? I mean, I feel like it's, you know what I mean? Like, it could be worse.
Yeah,
then.
this is a bigger. I mean, it's a 10-point penalty, but it's also
it knocks them way back.
It took them from, I think, third to sixth or something. He's eighth now, so that's another 5-point penalty
right near
basically
us,
right there.
right?
He's behind you.
Oh, we moved up.
Yeah,
I didn't look yet.
apparently.
Sweet.
First time for
he had a shot at the regular season, I think.
Yeah,
still,
he was still in
which is
contention.
another 15, right?
Yeah.
15 playoff
It's
points.
15 to the top. So
Yeah.
I mean, that hurts a lot. And if you just don't talk about spotters, good things will happen to you.
Yeah, Denny, perfect spot for you, right behind us there. It just keeps adding up for him.
All right. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Reaction Theater.
Now it's time for our favorite segment, Reaction Theater, where it's your turn to be heard. Reaction Theater is brought to you every week by Consumer Cellular.
Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as leading carriers, but with plans starting as low as $20 a month.
And now for a limited time, get their best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of free service. That's right. The same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life do come in twos. See consumercellular.com for promotional details. Jay, let's go to the calls.
Corey LaJoy. I'll try to keep it clean. That's 2 brains cross-eyed. It's no wonder why he lost his job. Maybe he has a concussion. He had 2 brain cells. He'd be in a diaper right now if he had a concussion. Corey LaJoy is a terrorist.
Terrorist?
Jeez.
Time for Corey LaJoy to start stacking burgers because he went from no DNFs prior season to now 2 flips in 24. We're not even done. Rookie teammates are kicking his ass. No wonder he's getting out of this car.
Did he flip twice? I thought he only flipped
I don't
once.
think so.
I think
Just once.
Did
Big-
they say stacking burgers?
Stacking
Is that what
burgers,
they said?
yeah, that's tough.
rough.
Poor Corey, nice kid.
Yeah, I don't like that.
You don't like that for him. You don't want to see him stack burgers.
Well, just that was mean.
We talking like
I don't
those
know.
guy or
All of that was so mean.
I don't know
I agree.
if you're aware our callers are not the nicest people.
Well, yeah,
on the
no,
planet.
that's I've caught on pretty quickly.
Abby goes to Dario because they're the best.
You like Dario?
They have good hot dogs there.
I don't think I've ever been to a Dario.
It's good.
A what?
Dario?
You know, no disrespect to Lee Diffie. He might be a great guy. Might like to have a good time. But replacing Rick Allen with him, it's just terrible. I've been drinking all day, got the TV muted, listening to MRN. I would rather listen to TJ smack his lips for 4.5 hours than listen to Lee Diffie call a NASCAR race.
Thanks for calling, Rick.
The best call made all week long was NBC putting Lee Diffie up in that booth. On the last lap, when he was like, around the outside, go 21. I lost my The hair on my nutsack stood up. Fantastic call, fantastic race. Love it. Ready for the playoffs? Holla.
Holla.
We should let those guys talk to each other.
Wow.
Just share their phone numbers so they can talk about it. There's no way you don't like Lee Diffie. He's like the hardest guy not to like on the planet.
Oh, I think it's funny that he said I listened to MRN when I muted the TV, but we were just talking about how he sounded just as exciting as they do on the radio.
That was a perfect example of NASCAR
Just
fans.
NASCAR
fans. Yes.
One loving something, the other one hating it.
No middle ground
Any-
whatsoever.
Any topic.
Yeah.
That's the exact reactions you'll have.
Every time.
There's no bathtub. There's no hot tub. At this point, I mean, I'm just assuming there's just an electric chair for us Kyle Busch fans at this point. I mean, get so excited. We dodge every bullet. We dodge every wreck. And get beat by somebody who runs in the rear all the time. Pushed by somebody who don't even race NASCAR all the time. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Everybody's all celebrating. Harrison Burton's in the playoffs. I ain't heard his name all year. Oh, Harrison Burton spins all 4. Go 8. Yippee-ki-yay.
Jeez, dude. At least be happy that Kyle was able to.
If he finished like
yeah,
that,
he did
it was
an
a good
interview
start
and
for
it, wasn't
Kyle.
and it wasn't outside the infield care center for the first time.
Somebody needs to check on that guy.
Jeez.
Hope he's doing okay.
No electric chairs, buddy. No, it's not worth it.
I got something to rant about. When these drivers get into the infield care center, can we not put a TV in the hallway or something so they can stop coming out and saying, I haven't seen a good replay of it? Every single one of them. Can we not afford a TV so they can see it? What's going on here?
Have you ever?
That's a really good point.
Have you ever come
honestly.
out and said something and then watched the replay and you're like, oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think they all have.
You could tell because they start talking a little slower, and you're like, yeah.
Even the biggest
happens.
one that stands out to me was whenever Carl did try to flip Brad, or he did flip him at Atlanta, whatever, however you want to call that. They interviewed him after the race, and he was like, "Yeah, he just didn't give me any room." And then they like, "Here's a replay," and he literally goes, "Oh, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought."
you could see his hands. In the windshield.
Oh yeah.
Or no,
Well,
I guess that way.
Whenever they got like Brad was inside him and won, and Carl like crowded him a little bit. He thought Brad came up and hit him, and he was watching the replay. He was like, "Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was." Probably didn't need to try to.
I thought Bob was gonna kick Carl's ass that day.
All right, as a Canadian, just to clarify what was said last week, they do play the American anthem at any sporting event in Canada where there is an American team playing. So does NASCAR need to play the Canadian anthem? No. But as a fan that hasn't missed watching a race in over 12 years, spends thousands of dollars to fly to watch a race live in the great USA, I say thank you to playing the Canadian national anthem. Please, NASCAR, bring a race to Canada, but for the love of God, don't make it Montreal. That city is the armpit of Canada. If you think Montreal is a great representation of Canada, well then I'm sorry. You are an idiot.
I don't think he likes Montreal.
When I heard
We're
I'm
not-
a Canadian,
cool,
I got so scared.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan.
I kind of want to race there pretty bad.
Yeah, I would.
I guess I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I want to definitely want to go to Montreal.
We went to where the hell's Mosport? Was that Toronto or just near
it's-
Toronto or whatever?
well,
Like, we went
yeah.
to we went
It's
to
close
Toronto.
enough.
Yeah.
It's about an hour, a couple hours past Toronto.
Oh boy, Canada. I can't leave the
Where
country.
else
I'm
could
not
you
sure
race
that
in
lives back in
Canada?
there.
Like
I don't
that's
know.
like I hear like, please bring. Where are we gonna race?
I don't know. I'm sure they got tracks all
Street
over the place.
race.
But I do apologize because last week
Street race.
we finally they answered the question. Yes, they do play the American national anthem in Canada at sporting events. I did not know, so I put it out there last week, and I got 4,000 tweets about it this week. So
Now you know.
I get it.
You got it.
Get it.
So you're telling me as a NASCAR fan during these playoffs, I have to care more about Cindric, Burton, and Suarez than I do Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain, Bubba Wallace. They're better race car drivers than the three that have made it in by wins. I don't know. The other guys are better race car drivers, but we got this dump. NASCAR has got to change this.
Popular win for the 21 car to go to victory lane and get Wood Brothers their 100th win, and tells a great story. I get it. But this just really highlights the stupidity of these playoffs. Man, it makes no sense that a guy that is last place in points among the full-time active drivers now gets to race for a championship. It was stupid when we thought it was going to be Austin Dillon. It's stupid now. Let's simplify this because this turns the sport into a joke.
Imagine they just put Austin back in today at his appeal. That'd be great.
Jesus.
You know what's simple?
That would
You
blow
know what's
the
real
world up.
simple though? You know how to fix it? Win a race.
Yeah, win. That's it. Or do better. Like,
And don't wreck somebody to do it.
well, yeah.
Or two cars.
But don't
to
wreck
do
two
it.
guys.
Two.
You can
Two.
wreck,
You can wreck one, but you can't wreck
Don't
two.
wreck the second guy.
Yeah, you can do one, but not two. That's right.
How does that? Let me ask you. Would that play into your mindset? Obviously, you're not racing for a championship, but like now coming to the end of the race, would that come into your thought process of approaching a last corner? Like you're still going to put the bumper to somebody to probably win the race, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever right hooked somebody before, so I don't think I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've pulled the double in NR 2003 a few times, or NASCAR Thunder, but I've never done it in real life.
That's what I said. It looked like a video game. It looked like you're racing
Yeah.
your buddies on iRacing, and you come off the corner.
That
and
was
you're
me
like, oh,
when I
just-
used to go on Martin's account on NR 2003 at the end of a race. I got him
bleed 'em
banned
out.
from so many servers back then.
Here's a fun fact for you. Ever since Kyle Larson bragged about being a better driver than Max Verstappen, he's been beaten every week by none other than Cody Ware. Cody Ware, the GOAT.
Shout out Cody Ware. Got
There you go.
P4 the other night.
Yeah,
and he did a
Cody-
good job.
He drove a good race.
Yeah, he did it. He just survived, put himself in position, and
And there were a couple times like that he was a really good like worker, like in the line, not doing maintaining, keeping up, not really doing anything, just doing what he needed to do. And then the couple cars in front of him moved, and he's stuck there by himself, and he still maintained, like, he still was able to stay up there and have a good shot at it, and I don't think he was, going to hop to the outside and get a big push to the lead and get a big win, but he ran a great race, a really good job, did a really good job.
Yep, absolutely. Got rewarded for it.
Yep.
Hey, Freddie, bro, what you doing on the big screen, bro? You need to get your ass to work up there. I don't care if it's a red flag. Stop doing stupid blocks. Get the off the screen. Do your job.
So we were under red on Friday night during the Xfinity race, and they had that live selfie cam.
Yeah.
So I did the little QR thing, and me and Hirschman were on there waving to people. I said, this is the highlight of my day because Kyle just ran around and survived the whole race, finished 14th. But I didn't work all night, so I was bored to death. And I was like, hey, while we're under red here, let's pull this thing up. So of course, everybody saw it. So then I was getting pictures of myself all night long. But it was just fun to have fun.
Those were great. All right. Well, to leave an audio message 24/7, call our phone number 704-802-9572, and we'll play the best ones each week on the show.
Consumer Cellular is the official wireless partner of Brad Keselowski, RFK Racing, and the 6 Car. If they can count on Consumer Cellular, you can too.
Brad Keselowski and RFK Racing know speed, and that's just what you get with Consumer Cellular.
Have you seen Brad's Consumer Cellular convertible? A symbol of savings, you might say. That thing is awesome.
Consumer Cellular has award-winning 100% U.S.-based customer service center, so you can always get the help you need. It's like having your pit crew right there when you need them.
Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as leading carriers, but with plans starting as low as $20 a month.
There are no activation fees and no contracts. Consumer Cellular customers stay because they want to, not because they have to. They don't need to trap their customers.
You can even try Consumer Cellular for 30 days risk-free. If you don't love it, cancel it, but they bet you'll love it. And now, for a limited time, get their best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. See consumercellular.com for promotional details.
It's time for Ask DBC, and you can send in your questions on X each week using hashtag AskDBC, and we'll answer the best ones. And Brady Harmon wants to know, Ryan, how does it feel to grab a super speedway win before Martin?
Feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. I thought for sure after I got that, he was going to one-up me and win the Cup race. It felt like it was going to happen again, but it didn't. I don't know. It's been a long time since he's won a super speedway, like 2006.
So Trey Ryan he sends me and Brett stats all the time. They're just kind of off the wall. So he sent a stat the other day, and he said that Martin's finished 23 consecutive plate races. And I was like, well, that's pretty impressive for a guy that doesn't seem to be very good at plate racing. I said he's like, not that he's not good at it, but it's like always just happens to him, I feel like. Yeah. And I was like, so I said, what's his average finish or what? Like I said, what's it? And he goes, yeah. He said he's got 3 top 10s in those 23 finishes. And I'm like, it's just, I feel like just always
he's just always riding in the back with like no fenders.
Yeah. Like that's what happened the other night. Like his destroyed. He's just out there.
He was one Matt Kenseth block away from winning the 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Brian says, early this season, Fords were lacking on performance, but since the midseason, they've come on pretty strong. Thoughts on brand parity or standouts going into Darlington and the playoffs?
Well, go ahead, TJ.
I just don't see one standing out more than the other right now. I mean, I think everybody's kind of got speed at times right now. I think, obviously go to the Mount of Halves. You do think you do think Toyotas probably have, I don't know, arguably the best there. But I go back to the 600 and looking at the 600 before it got shortened by rain. I mean, Brad was trying to pass Seabell for the lead. So obviously, I think all three are strong right now.
Yeah, you come off of Daytona, and listen, the Fords have been the best at controlling the races up front. I mean, you saw the front row cars. Shout out to them. Front Row Motorsports locks out the front row on Friday. They've had speed at these plate races all year with their new alliance with Penske. And the Penske cars are always strong. Obviously, the 6 and 17 are always strong. So, like coming off of this week, they were really good. Our cars were good. I felt like the Toyotas were good. Ryan, like we talked about the Xfinity side, like Austin Hill's been unbeatable in qualifying, and to see Chandler beat him in the first round, I was like, holy like that's a pretty big deal, because he's been like tenths better than everybody
Yeah,
in qualifying. So I was like, I think they got something to play with. And I think you talked about how strong your cars were. But so it's like TJ said, it's all pretty equal, I think, right now.
I feel like anyone can win any week.
Yeah.
And you
There's
don't really,
a
you
lot
don't
of
really
guys.
know who, like,
Yeah, we saw that yesterday, actually.
who thought Richmond was gonna.
You mean Saturday?
Yeah, exactly. Saturday.
Saturday,
But
yeah.
it's like the three. That's the thing that
The
kills.
three was gonna win,
The thing that
straight
kills
up.
me about that race, and it's obviously hindsight's 2020, but like Austin was the best car by far that night. Drove to the lead, and like if he just finishes second and doesn't do that, you're talking about how great he was that night and how great of a job he did. Holy RCR's back. They got speed. And obviously it flips on its head because of what happened, but it's hard. You're not going to want to run second, especially when you have a fast car like that.
Even you go to Michigan. I look at Michigan. I see all three cars are up there. I think the Fords have gotten stronger though as the year has went on here, and I don't really feel like we have a weakness.
Just a spotter.
All right. Matt Case asks, starts with a statement. Shout out to Kyle Busch for having some class and sportsmanship by not wrecking Harrison Burton to make the playoffs. He said, besides wrecking him, there was nothing else I could do. Do you think this will have any effect on how other drivers conduct themselves moving forward?
Nope. I don't think so. I mean,
No.
They go through 3 and 4, and we're running like 6th or 7th, and I'm just watching these guys, and I'm like,
waiting for it to happen.
I was like, like it's one of these two is going to win. There's nobody going to jump both of them. And then they start bobbing and weaving down the front. I'm like, oh, hook his ass. Like, please hook it. Go around him. Bell somehow win. Or even like Bubba's like, we're screwed, huh? And I go, well, not really, because only ones that can't win are Harrison and the 8, because I didn't care if Parker won. I didn't care if like Cody Ware somehow won. Yeah. Like, because those guys aren't full time, so it had no bearing on us. I was like, just those two can't win enough to the front row. So, but we come off a 4 there, and I'm like, oh man, we're done. I was like, they saw, wait a minute, he might turn him, and it just didn't work out for us, obviously. But I mean, that's the way to do it. It's the way you should do it, but it doesn't always work out that way. Like TJ wrecked that poor guy at Talladega.
Which time?
This year.
Which time?
You talking about this year?
Yeah, this year when you got
McDowell
for
me here. Yeah.
Poor McDowell, you just hooked the poor guy.
Yeah, I know it.
He was just trying to block.
Well, it's all the video Nick Flicks watched.
Just told him where to be.
Freddie, this is your gig.
So
who's your idiot?
You got a good one, or
yeah?
Oh.
Well, I listen. I'll give him a little bit of a break because it turned out better than it was looking, but he almost put himself in the Wooden Idiot Hall of Fame. Was Corey blending halfway up onto the racetrack off of pit road? Corey, we almost changed his name to Corey LePage. That was really bad. Like if you go back and find, I forget who tweeted it, but somebody has the in-car of Todd's in-car, Gillen's in-car.
Oh yeah.
And it's sketchy. Like Todd, what you don't realize is you know this, right? You can't see. Like, if you're tucked up somebody's ass, you don't know what the hell's going on in front of them. That's
to the left, and you're
you kind of shade
right.
out. And what happened? He makes a move into 1 to make it 3 wide at bottom, and there's a car halfway on the racetrack, and you're like, whatever. Yeah. That was I don't know what Corey. Like at that point, he's like 10 laps down. Like just run the apron through 1 and 2.
I don't know how you don't hear. All right, the field's coming through the trioval right now.
I didn't listen to it. Somebody said they went back and listened, and he was getting that information that they were coming. But
I mean, at that point, I'm so close to the grass because I don't want them to wreck and hit me.
Yeah. So the rule is the blend line is you can move up at the exit of the road course, put your left side tires on the yellow line, and run through 1 and 2. You don't have to.
But like I said, you're not racing anybody.
Yeah, you're 10 laps down. Like that's not a mandatory rule.
Also, they didn't talk about it on TV. I mean, you could see it. They didn't say anything. I saw it on TV, and they didn't.
I
say
saw
anything.
it coming, and I started telling. I'm like, got one trying to blend from the apron like into 1, and you're like, oh boy.
Well, I mean, the whole field was coming. We were on the bottom, so like I was the same thing. Like a 10 out the front. Like and like the thing is, you're expecting it. Like I told Bubba, I was like, oh, he's gonna be on the apron. And, well, wait a minute, no, he's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, why do you even think about coming up right there?
Yeah. I don't know. Who you got, TJ?
I think
you going to the end 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. I'm not bitter about Michigan.
I don't think was this his fault. I thought it was more AJ. But you want to make it his fault?
Yeah, why not? He made it someone else's fault last week.
That's fine. Yeah,
I just give it to Parker again for causing another big one.
I said, what do you got against us seeing the checker flag? I saw him on Saturday. I said, why can't we just race in the checker flag, Parker? Like this 2 weeks in a row, you're throwing yellows on the last lap because of you.
Watching that race because I wasn't spotting it. I was watching it, and I really AJ had a chance to make a move. I believe down the backstretch or somewhere off of 2, maybe. Is that right? Didn't they get single
Ryan
file?
said he had it the whole time. Good.
Yeah.
He had a chance to make a run, and he didn't. And I can tell you this, the guy behind you, once you don't make that one, you're now getting the move made on you as soon as the next time it comes up. And I think that was the chance AJ had to get up front maybe and then get them racing behind you. And most of these plate races haven't seen the checker flag under green.
Yeah.
So Austin Hills won how many of them because they get shortened?
Yeah.
And
Ryan, you could talk about the last lap there. AJ and the 48 were working together really well all night, and you're kind of in a bad spot. Like if they execute that move correctly, there's really nothing you could do to defend it.
Yeah, once we got to 2 to go, all they were doing was backing up, trying to let me get too far out and trying to create a run. And they had one on the back. They didn't.
Yeah, he didn't take
I think he must have thought it was too early, or he didn't think he could clear me.
Yeah.
Coming out of the tri-oval, he had a big one coming because I got a little too far out.
Yeah, and that's when Parker took his. But, I mean, AJ had chances to get up front there. And as soon as you get passed by a car, I mean, your instant reaction next is going to be to try to slow that guy down or the next car there too, because you need to stop them.
Yeah,
you got to side draft them until you get help, and hopefully you get a push. But that's usually what creates an accident at some point, or can. So I mean, honestly, when they didn't make that move, you were in the bed. I'm sure you were watching it when it happened. So I'm sure you're staring at them when you see that move. I mean, I don't know were you looking out the side mirror or rear view mirror?
Yeah, just the rear view mirror.
Yeah, and you see, I mean, as soon as that happens, I mean, you're like,
yeah. What scared me is they didn't throw the caution right away, and
they didn't. Yeah,
I had
you're probably
15
way
car
out.
lets on now
that's
second.
That's a helpless feeling.
And I was like
at that point, if they stayed green, you were 100%.
That was you were gonna. Yeah,
like there was. I honestly, what would have happened is I would have tried to block and probably wrecked all of us.
So yeah,
but at that point, what else do you do?
Yeah,
try to win.
You got anybody you want to call an idiot this week?
No.
I'll tell you who's an honorary one idiot. Poor Lane Riggs. How do you?
That was going to be mine, but in a funny way.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, if I was gracious enough to have one, you could give me one. But that was
going
to be mine, but in a funny way.
Take the grounds there.
Yeah.
What do you
that
got?
was going to be mine, but like not actually in a mean way.
Dislocated his shoulder celebrating. I mean,
Bless
that's
his
hard
heart.
to do.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
I thought he was faking it for a second, and then I thought he was gonna like lean down and do that thing where he like shake.
Oh, like the dance.
How's that go?
I don't actually know. It's like, don't they like do the whole arm?
Mick Reynolds says that all the time with my leg. Oh my God. So
it would have been awesome if he did that.
What a deal that was. Like, he doesn't make the playoffs and then goes out and wins the first race of the playoffs. Yeah. Like that's a big deal, because if you win that race, like there's only 2 rounds, right? I mean, and you're basically into the next round, and there's only the finals after that. So, but yeah, they obviously had some issues all year long, but yeah, good for him yesterday. He was the best truck, I thought, at the end of that race, and he deserved to win. So congrats.
That was cool to see. All right, how about some DBC picks?
Who won? Brett picked Harrison.
I know.
How the this idiot.
Dude.
I'm winning this week. I don't give who you guys pick, so it don't matter. Who goes first?
Oh, TJ.
I think I do.
Yes, on the sheet.
Sorry, I meant
I
to direct that.
TJ's first, and then I have Casey and Brett's picks.
Man, I'm not doing it.
You can't do it.
I'm not doing it.
TJ refuses to pick himself.
I'm not doing it.
He's not gonna use Brad all year.
I will. Man, this is tough right here. Tough sledding. I will go with a guy that ran well there last time. I will go with. Ooh, I got him too though.
Jesus Christ.
Time's up.
You don't have anybody good, so
Justin Haley ran pretty good there last time.
Pick him.
And
like I said, it doesn't matter. You guys aren't winning.
I'll take Todd
Gilliland.
Yep.
Who's Casey you want?
Casey is going with Noah.
I will take Tyler Reddick.
Oh.
And Brett is going to go with Bowman.
Okay.
Good luck catching him.
Reddick is a very good choice.
Well, who?
Brett.
It resets.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
No,
I thought we
you
already
just can
said-
pick every driver, right?
Oh,
In the
I mean,
playoffs.
but the drivers.
The
yeah.
drivers
Yeah, but the
reset.
points don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trailing.
We're good. We got 10 races to narrow that down.
All right. What's up for Ryan this year? You got more races, obviously?
2 more.
2 more. Where at?
Atlanta and Bristol.
Fun stuff. You're just going to win them both?
I'm going to try.
That's good.
I get almost 50% of my races.
That's a good. I mean, that's a good average.
You want to know? I give you a little bit of advice. Bristol, I wouldn't wreck the 88.
No, I won't.
Is he running?
I won't.
Bristol?
I'm really excited to race with him. That'll be cool.
Wreck out of him. I would just.
I can't. Yeah.
Could you imagine?
No.
Everyone that, I'll have no fans.
I forget.
I don't know if I have any now. But
Hirsch.
I'll just have
man in
only
Bristol.
haters.
I thought Hirsch was going to get killed one year leaving. Was it Talladega? Kyle wrecked Dale somewhere.
Richmond?
And
Oh,
that was it wasn't Richmond.
That was Dickerson at Richmond. That was Jeff Dickerson.
Yeah. Kyle, I forget. We were going down the elevator and Hirschman had his M&M stuff on, and he did not have any friends whatsoever in that elevator. Poor guy.
I'll need a police escort out of Bristol if that happens.
Well, man, we appreciate you stopping by. Congratulations again. Looking forward to more good things for you in the future, hopefully. Good luck in the rest of these races this year, and thanks for coming by.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Karsyn, thanks for coming again. We don't know if you're back next week. We can't decide if we like you or you like us. But
I'll wait to see if I get the phone call.
Well, if you come next week, can you just be on time?
You were a little late today.
Are you me? I was literally here 5 minutes before Jay told me to be here. So
you were
Try again.
You are much more
punctual
than our other host. Shout
The
out to
one that sits
Casey.
right there?
Casey, we love you.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, just take your rundowns when the show's over. That's all I care about. Please.
Well, all right. Thanks. Where the hell are we going? Darlington. Going to be probably hot as a mother.
Cars Tour will be at Florence.
Long race.
Friday night. Come see us.
So go watch Karsyn Black Flag the hell out of
Dude,
everybody.
It's not me.
My daughter's got a set of nice racing flags. I'm gonna bring my black flag after the Xfinity race, and I'm gonna stand down there in the front row and just wave it at everybody.
And I'm
when
gonna
they
beat
go
your
by.
ass.
Is Dale racing?
I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yes, he's racing.
Oh, shout out, by the way.
Is that announced yet?
What?
Okay.
What are we now?
Kevin Harvick's racing a Pro Late Model too, so we'll have both
That's good.
two owners.
Shout out to Grandpa Kip. Kip became a grandpa
He's a
this
pop.
week. So every week we get a text from Kip about some dumb we say on here. Hey, the one funny thing, did you get I got seen all these tweets last week. So Brett did that where he, hey Siri,
Hey
how do
Siri.
you say?
Oh, yeah.
And everybody listening to the podcast
Well,
was
TJ got a phone
triggering their
call.
Siri
I did.
while they're driving.
I got a phone call about it.
Did you?
Yeah, they were not happy.
Who?
All
Kip.
three of them.
I was standing there innocently. It came from the other two.
People were like, we're driving down the road, and Brett kept saying, "Hey Siri," and my phone would shut off.
Yeah.
Dude, those podcasts would stop playing.
That's gonna I'm gonna start throwing that in the intro.
So we just
like-
did it. We just
That's
did it.
what
I
he
know,
said.
but, like, we just did it again.
I know, but we'll do it in the intro to the show. Like, hey everybody, hey Siri.
That's going to be our little Easter egg for the rest of the
Oh, all right. Thanks for listening, and we'll see everybody in Darlington, Siri. Hey Siri.
Bye, Siri.
See ya.
Word.